Now, Ennistymon is getting ready to welcome the return of spring with the Imbolg Festival, a celebration of St Brigid, community and tradition, running from tomorrow until February 2nd. To tell us more about what's been planned, I'm joined on the line by the co-organiser of Ennistymon's Imbolg Festival, Aoibheann Boyle, and Louise O'Connor, who's leading the Cayley on Sunday. Well, Aoibheann and Louise, you're both very welcome to the programme.
Thanks very much, Daragh.
Hi, Daragh. Hi, Daragh. Thanks for having us.
Not at all, my pleasure. Well, we all love the St Brigid weekend, most notably because I suppose since it became a bank holiday, we all get either a bit more pay or a day or an extra day off in the year. But we're really getting into the community spirit and the culture of it here. I suppose, Aoibheann, as the co-organiser, could you tell us what entertainment we can expect now in Ennistymon over the weekend?
Well, we have a jam-packed programme. So this year it's going to be over 3 days. And the beauty of this festival is that everyone's just come together. From a co-organizer point of view, it's just such a dream because we're blessed with such a creative, passionate and generous community in Ennistymon, and everyone's just come together and wants to give their gifts up and celebrate spring and the arrival of Bridget and Imbolg. So they are all just bringing their own passions, bringing their gifts and spices to it all. So it's very, very much a community event, and there's no one person who's important than the other. We're all equal, and it's last year was our inaugural year, and it's really about bringing back old traditions and into the new way. And so I could go through the whole programme, to be honest. But I'll be here chatting for a while just to give you a heads up on my spiel. So on Saturday we're going to be kicking off the Bridget's Day Eve. We're going to be kicking off the Restore Ballymacraven River Association. They're going to be no better way to start at the arrival of Bridget than planting trees. So they'll be planting trees down by the Glen in Ennistymon, and people can sign up to that through the Restore Ballymacraven River Association platforms. And then in the evening, we're going to be getting ready for the arrival of Imbolg and the arrival of Bridget. So Daragh Dolan is going to be leading a bridge oak workshop. I'm not sure if you're familiar with bridge oaks, but to keep it simple, they're small little British dolls, made out of straw and hay and sticks, and there's gorgeous love given to each of the dolls that are created, and there's limited a space there, so that's going to be in Pot Duggins, and it'll be followed by an open storytelling evening, so all are welcome. It will be led by Daragh and Tom Barry. They did they had such a gorgeous evening there last year, so we had to have them back. It was just it was a balm for the soul. And then on Sunday, so Bridget's Day, we'll be starting off with a foraging walk with environmentalist Una O'Dwyer and herbalist Cara DeRochta, and that'll be around the Glen. And so we'll be having different perspectives as we walk around the Glen, from an ecological point of view and also from a nutritional point of view, looking at what we can use in nature. And then that will be followed by a Bridget's Cross workshop in Alfie's vintage shop. And so it'll be a 1 hour workshop that's guided, and then from 12 to 1. And then from 1 to 3, people can just, those people who are just pros at Bridget's Crosses, they can just pop in and make their own Bridget's Cross as they please. So, a kind of coming and going service, I don't know. And then the Salmon Bookshop they're celebrating the 45th anniversary of Salmon Poetry, and they're having a poetry reading in the Salmon Bookshop. The tickets can be got on the door. They're €10, and it's a poetry reading for Bridget's Day with Rita Ann Higgins and Jessie Lendenny from the Salmon Poetry, and that'll be a gorgeous event to go all together. And that'll be followed then at 5:30 by a wonderful musical experience with Maeve McKenna They're a harpist and just an all-round musical genius in my eyes, anyway. And also Simon O'Reilly, another musical genius, we'll say. And that'll be a really lovely, intimate event in the Salmon Bookshop. Tickets are free, but booking is required just due to limited space. And then we'll be finishing off the night in style, and this is where Louise comes in. So that'll be a Bridget's Day Cayley, Bridget's Night Cayley, and I'll allow Louise talk about that, but I'll just finish the programme, if that's all right. Okay. So just to finish off on Monday then, we'll have a chat from 1:30 to 2:30 in the Salmon Bookshop, and that'll be local artists coming together to discuss Bridget's Spark. So it's an artist conversation, and it'll be another gorgeous one to ignite all the sparks that Bridget brings. And then that'll be followed by a procession on the main street to the Market Square at 5 p.m. And then we're going to get a little boogie on and have silent disco with the wonderful Hush Disco with Jilly Kelly Dunn. So that's the full programme there. But if you have any questions, want to get into more discussion?
Well, there really is something for everybody there, even when you start off with the Ballymacraven River Association and the tree planting to the Bridget's Cross, and even dolls, not to be confused with dogs once again, workshop. And the silent disco there as well. I think everybody loves a good silent disco, and if you haven't been to a silent disco before, that's a treat. That's certainly one to try out. Most of these events, of course, as well, are free of charge. So that's a brilliant weekend's itinerary. But certainly one event I want to touch on more is the St Brigid's Night Cayley, which is taking place on Sunday of this bank holiday weekend from 8 till 10. And Louise O'Connor, you're going to be leading that. How do you feel?
That's right there. I'm very excited to be bringing this Cayley to Ennistymon. So I've been teaching classes in this community centre in Ennistymon for the past year or so. So this is we're kind of working towards this Cayley experience. So it's just it's brilliant to be dancing in celebration of St Brigid, and the pre-Christian figure of Bridget, who was very associated with the arts, with poetry and with creativity. So it makes sense for me that we dance in celebration of this weekend. And also I think these kind of Cayleys were always very important community events, especially winter. I think winter can be a hard time for a lot of people, so having something positive to come out and celebrate is very important. And I just want to emphasise there's no experience at all required for the dancing. It'll be very, very inclusive. Bit of Cayley, a bit of set dancing. We've brilliant music by Yvonne Casey, Sinead Egan and Sean Murphy, and we're also going to have the artist Maeve Collins at hand, who will have some straw hats available. So there was a tradition in Ireland, especially in Kerry, of the Biddy Boys. So there's like the straw boys, where people were wearing disguises to wish people luck at their wedding. The Biddy Boys were people would turn up at the houses on the 1st of February. And it was wishing luck for the year, and they might expect a few coins or food or a drink or something. But it was just a kind of a ritual of fun, and it's going out and time to go out and see the neighbours and kind of bring the community together. People might be hibernating a little bit, so that's the idea behind the Cayley. And everyone's welcome. If you have two left feet or are very experienced, everyone's welcome to the Cayley on Sunday.
But it's nice to clarify that my kind is welcome too. But Louise and Aoibheann, most certainly sounds like Ennistymon is the place to be on this St Brigid's bank holiday weekend. Unfortunately, that is all we have time for on this segment, but I do wish you both the very best of luck. And after hearing that a real itinerary of I suppose, just entertainment and events where there is something for everyone, make sure to get yourself to Ennistymon between tomorrow and February the 2nd. So if my maths or my calendars or my internal calendar is correct, that's between Saturday and Monday. But Aoibheann and Louise, thank you both very much for joining us on Morning Focus.
Thanks so
Thank you,
much,
Daragh.
Daragh. And we can share the links with you for people to book in any of the activities. And there's also posters around locally where they can get more information and links to the activities.
Well, please do.
Booking
Please do.
is
We'd
recommended.
we'd only be too happy to share. Louise and Aoibheann, thank you very, very much.
Thank you very
Thanks
much,
so
Daragh.
much.
Never
Bye-bye.
Agus bannacht dí na bhríothar.
Slán agus bannacht freisin.